Jeff Van Gundy here on the Rich Eisen Show. Have you spoken to Oakley at all?
Yeah, I do. I speak to Charles. I really enjoy, and I can't say I speak to him, every week or every month, but yeah, we catch up. I love hearing from guys who I coached and that I have such great respect for. And I know right now, people are thinking a lot about, what happened still back in the Garden. I believe it was in February. But my hope is that one unfortunate confrontation leads to understanding and a resolution. Sometimes Bill Parcells used to say this: conflict can clear the air, and hopefully that's what happens between the Knicks and Charles, because Charles is he's one of the great Knicks ever. Whether his name ever goes up into the rafters or not, I believe it belongs there. I think Charles set such an example of competitive spirit, intelligence, and toughness. Really, his basketball personality paved the way for those Knicks teams to have great defensive mentality and superior toughness.
Well, I got to tell you, Jeff, you're preaching to the choir here, okay? You're talking to a kid from Staten Island, New York, who fell in love with basketball, strolling into Madison Square Garden, watching Rory Sparrow, Michael Ray Richardson, and Red Holtzman at the end of his era. Bernard King was an idol of mine. Loved the Hubie years. Obviously, when Pat Riley came in and what he did with Ewing was spectacular. And then you came in, and you carried on that tradition. And to see Charles Oakley dragged out of that building is disgusting. I don't even know how to handle it. It just gets my blood boiling every time. And to hear that you think his name needs to go on the rafters, I don't know how the current owner, how that happens with the current owner, Coach. Jeff, I just don't know how that happens.
Well, I think, again, sometimes when things are boiling under the surface, both parties can, think they're being disrespected. And I think by it coming to the forefront, it was obviously a scene that none of us who love the Knicks and love Charles, none of us like that. But hopefully the outcome can be that there can be understanding from both sides. And I'm hopeful that over time and over the summer that there is a time next year where Charles is honored in the middle of Madison Square Garden. I think the fan base there has a special affinity for people and players who are moderately talented and get the most out of their talent, and that was Charles. And I think one day his number will go up, because I think cooler heads will prevail. I think everybody, is calming down. I think the situation is going to get resolved. And I hope so, because, listen, I was so fortunate, the fans got to see Charles play every day or every game. I got to see him work every day. And this is a man who never took a shortcut, never took a day off, never expected anything, earned everything. And I couldn't be prouder of all he accomplished in the NBA.
Well, I hope if that day comes and I'll take your word for it, I would love it. I would love for those cooler heads to prevail. If that day comes, hopefully they'll do it in a game that you're calling, Jeff, because you deserve to be there for that moment.
Well, even if I'm not calling the game, I will make sure I'm there, because, when you talk about Patrick Ewing, I call him the mortgage, because he paid the bills for a lot of years for me and a lot of people. And Charles is right along with it. Like those guys, Rich, I think I was the coach. I think I took over when I was maybe 33 or 34, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave me respect back when I was an assistant far before I earned it. They taught me more about the NBA. I would include Mark Jackson in that than I taught them. Those guys, they're all about my age, and they are, I'll be forever grateful for them.
Jeff, thanks for the time. Appreciate it. Love having you on. I'd love to get you back right there in the playoffs.
All right. Certainly, Rich.
You got it. It's Jeff Van Gundy on ESPN. And I don't want to, you know how I feel, okay? I rant. That gets me going right? Every time you hear him, he mentions Mark Jackson, mentions all these people, and Dolan's the guy. And of all, I mean, the Knicks have a deep bench of people who love and care about this organization and have a great knowledge of the NBA, and yet Dolan keeps going back to Isaiah Thomas, who has zero relationship with the New York Knicks. Zero as a player. Zero. I need to take a break. Otherwise, I'm going to start saying things I won't regret. I never say anything that I regret. But it just gets me so pissed off. And I hope he's right. I hope he's not just saying that just to say, because, obviously he is still part of the Knicks lore and the man who owns the team. If you're having a beer with your buddy having a cigarette, then suddenly you're not allowed in the Garden. So I hope he's right. I hope he's right that Dolan will find it within him to get Oakley in there, and they put 34 up there.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.